Good morning. Today is a good day. I want to talk about the purification process during the spiritual awakening and kind of tell it how I see it. So you could kind of say that you could kind of see us as kind of like an energetic portal between the higher realms, the heaven realms, and the physical plane and the physical experience. So we are a spiritual being having a physical experience, having a human experience in this realm. So you could kind of see it as almost like we are energetic conductors. You could almost see it as if we are kind of like I want to say kind of like a beacon, but I'm seeing it more of like a pipe or more of like, let's say, an electricity connector. Let's say we're connected. We have electricity flowing through us, which is the energy, right? The chi energy of the universe flowing through us, God's energy, life light flowing through us, and you could see us kind of like a conductor of energy, a conductor of electricity. So the higher realms come and they flow through us, and they through us get expression into the 3D world. And as they are getting expression into the 3D world, we are also, you can hear explosions going way off in the background. I've been hearing them all morning. Um, there's an example of living in separate realities. So I'm sitting here in kind of like the reality of the Garden of Eden, and off in the background you can hear explosions going off. People are living in completely different, there was just another one, completely complete different realities. There are people that are living in very low vibration realities that are out, shooting bombs at each other. And I mean, just think of the contrast between where I am sitting right now the and the contrast between what I'm hearing in the background. So you have a choice. You can live in that reality, or you can live in this real. The bombs are going off, and it's like a choice. It's almost like a choice. It's like a choice, but almost like you don't have a choice. You have to go through this process to be able to have the ability to choose. You have to go through the awakening process to even know that you have a choice. And so I kind of see it as we are like these beings that are, we are separate from the earth. So we're not like a tree, that we are of this realm. And we are also, we're connected to the ethers and we're connected to the earth, but we are in between. We are like a being that is also in this realm and also in this realm. And so we're kind of like conductors. So when you see it that way, let's say if we see it like we are a copper wire, you could say that we are a copper wire, that we collect also information from this realm, which we bring through us, but we also connect to the higher realms, and we bring them through into this realm. And the more purify, the more you can purify your own self, the more that you can, let's say if you are a conductor and you have all sorts of blockage on the way, so the energy will come through, your life light will come through, but it'll get stuck in the way. And then it'll get stuck on the way, and you don't allow it to fully flow through you. Then you are cutting yourself off from your connection, from that connection, that cycle of life. When you can allow the ethers to flow through you and your gifts to flow through you into this world, you are also bringing yourself through as a pure expression. You're bringing the higher realms into this realm, expressing them through you and understanding this realm through the higher realms, and then you see that everything is perfect. And as you express yourself, you also become a influencer on your surroundings, which we are always influencers on our surroundings. But when you come with that service and with allowing yourself to fully allow the God essence to flow through you into this realm, into this plane, then you are in full expression and you are fully I want to say living to the maximum, but there's a word for it where you are in full expression and you are maximizing your life experience. You are bringing forth your gifts, and then you get back, as you bring your gifts forth, you get back reflections of that. And so it strengthens. What was that? That was very strange. And then you have reflections of I'm still on that. There was like, did you see that? There was something that went through here. And so I see this the spiritual awakening as we're going through it and as we are breaking loose of everything that is holding us down into the physical plane, and we're realizing that that we're not taking anything with us. This is just an experience, and the experience is to maximize the experience. The point of it is, you could see it like a kind of like a game, is to purify yourself and bring yourself back to your pure nature and pure being. And when you become in that place, then you are whole within yourself. You are a master of your own experience, and you become um, you enjoy every aspect of it, even the parts that kind of hurt you, especially the parts that kind of hurt you, because you realize that those parts, that's when, let's say you have like, let's say you're like a pipe, a pure pipe that brings the heavens down through you. And let's say in it you have blockage that is hooked on the side, right? So let's say when they go in, it's like removing, let's say you have something growing on your skin, you have to go in and you have to get it removed surgically. So you are removing, you're scraping those impurities off of you, and that's painful because these impurities you have they have altered your behavior. Let's say if your behavior, godlike behavior, comes through pure, and you have all of this blockage growing inside on there, and you have to take it off. First of all, it's painful because these have already grown and become part of you. These behaviors, you could call them demons, you could call them whatever you want. And demons, that connects back to that. All of a sudden, there was like a being, an entity here with us. Um, and so you have to remove those. It's kind of like you're surgically removing these behaviors or these demons from your behavior. And so it's painful as you do it, but then you get the rewards. You get these rewards of having purified yourself and then letting the God light go through you purely. And it feels so good. And it also, it's new sensations. It returns you as you purify yourself. You return back into your childhood. You start feeling emotions that you felt in your early childhood, when you were a pure soul, when you were excited about seeing a flower bloom, when you were intrigued by a blade of grass, when you were in awe from everything around you. And you start returning to those emotions, and they start becoming apparent to you. And so it's amazing how as you purify yourself along this way. See, I see it as such a pure picture. It's like this synergy. It's like this energy. The energy of the universe comes down through you, and you spread your light out into the world, and then it comes back to you as a reflection. And when you are living your purest self, you are in pure bliss, because this life experience is amazing. It's amazing. And when you can see that truly and purely, and you don't take anything personally, like, oh, what does that mean about me? Because as we go along, we are taking things. We have to look at things. We have to, in order to purify ourselves, we have to feel the emotion of being out of sync, right? And those are uncomfortable emotions. But then we have to, instead of blaming or saying, oh, I'm okay, but that person did that and that's why it hurts me, then we have to take that back and look inwardly. So there's a lot of pain on this. We have to go in and look at ourselves and purify ourselves, and see where we're out of sync, and admit to ourselves where we were out of sync, and sometimes even admit to others where we were out of sync, where it's relevant. But a lot of times when we find these patterns of behavior, we realize that we have been it's like taking a pillow of feathers, and we have been behaving this way our entire lives. And a lot of it, we have to admit, well, look at all these different places in our life. That's why the when we are repairing ourselves, it takes time to process, because when we find one of these behaviors, or one of these clogs in that pipe that's coming through from the heavens, we find this clog that we have to remove, right? It goes so deep into our being. Sometimes we have to go all the way back into our childhood and pull the roots of it out of there. But then we can also see all of these different places in our lives where we have behaved out of sync with God, with our God light, with our purity, with our selves, with our unity with the all, with where we have mistreated others along the way. Whether we can say, oh, they deserved it because of the way they were or not, it doesn't matter. We need to take responsibility for our part in it, because had we not been behaving out of sync, that whole situation wouldn't have come to be, right? If I had been in perfect sync with myself from the beginning, and luckily I wasn't, because I have 4 wonderful children, but had I been in sync from when I was young, then my life path would have been completely different. I would have made different choices. I would have chosen perhaps a different life partner. But I chose the life partner that I chose because I needed those lessons. And those lessons were so deep and so detrimental to the person that I have become and to my spiritual journey, that is something that just had to have happened. After my divorce, for I think 3 years, I had like this feeling inside of me like, why did you wait so long? Why did you? That was the sorrow of it. Like, all of your young years, I was married for 20 years, from when I was 20 to when I was 40. I left when I was 37. So it was like, all of those years you were in a marriage, but I look back at it now and I see that that is the path that I had to go through in order to get to the place that I am now. And I'm far younger than now at 47 than I was at 37 when I left that marriage. I'm far more in check with myself, far more understanding of the way, I mean, it's like the difference between heaven and earth, the way that I am now and the way that I was when I first started this spiritual journey path. And I can just look back and see how far I've come, and I can take that and I can apply that into my future, into knowing that everything that I go through is for my own good, and knowing that everything is perfect exactly as it is always. And as I purify this hose, or like the filter that I am, it's like it's it's I am connected to everything, and everything is flowing through me, and I am an expression of everything. When I get into my ego and I start thinking that it's me and that I'm in control of everything, and oh, I should do that and I should do that, and why did that person think that, and why did that say that, and maybe I should have done that, and then I would have gotten a better outcome. And when I start getting into that, it's kind of like that's the ego. It's kind of like a greedy kind of thing, not accepting things the way that they are. But when you can just become an experiencer and you allow the things to flow by nature, how they are, you don't fight against, and then afterwards you can look at the experience and see how the day played out, and you can look at, okay, you can take all sorts of very fine, when you get to this level of the spiritual awakening, you can take fine. It's like going in with tweezers and looking and saying, okay, where was there a little piece of a root stuck in my behavior? Where was I stuck? What was the outcome that came to be? How did it make me feel? and you come into a complete acceptance. It doesn't hurt anymore. It just becomes a game. It becomes like, okay, give me another experience so that I can see where I was out of sync with my true nature. And when you are in sync with your true nature, you just become into a place of being. You come into the now. You come into a place of presence. You come into a place of relaxation. You come into a place of knowing that everything is exactly as it needs to be at all times. And I know that in this video, I'm re-saying a lot of things that I have been saying, but these are things that we need to hear over and over and over because they play out in our mind over and over and over. As we're going through life, it's like replay, 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 replay until we get it right, until we purify ourselves. So, and the further we go along, the more pure, the more detail. It's like going into this fine lace and finding these little strands, these little silk strands, and putting them back into place. It's like you see, it's all paradoxal. And you can use so many different ways of telling this story. Everything is perfect exactly as it is. Um, so I just want to tell a little bit of the story of what has been going on in the last few days. I know that I've kind of went AWOL, but it's just kind of I didn't feel like I had something that was coming to the surface that I really was wanted to. A lot of times I'll have like these understandings that are so profound that I need to just bring them, and sometimes I'm going through the process of intake, 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 and I'm just being the experience, and I don't really have the conclusions yet or any kind of big aha moments yet, even though what I'm going through is typically when I go into those, even if I'm going down into like the pits of things, or even if I'm going to the highs, it's going into the experience. So I become the experiencer for a few days and then I don't really have anything to say. And then everything comes out in a big, like, comes out in these conclusions, these big understandings, or kind of like I go through a whole bunch of things and then I understand what the message in that was in and I'm able to put it into words. Now, these last few days have been it's been like a couple of weeks, I guess, or a week or maybe a little longer that I've been in contact almost every day with my counter, my best friend, I don't, yeah, that's what I'm going to call him. And it's been really, really nice and comfortable. And I've gotten to a place where I really feel the most let go. And I've said this before, but really feel the most let go. And I feel like I'm privileged to have him as a friend in my life, to have somebody that is that close to me, that understands how I work, that I understand how he works, and that I can see him and that he can see me. To have somebody that close in my life to me, it gives like this layer of security in my life. And I feel just blessed to have that reflection, to have somebody that understands me so well that everything that he says reflects me back to me. And that is something that is sacred. And I feel like I'm overcoming, like before, when a couple weeks ago when I was going down into that pit. It's kind of like a jealousy pit, or like and I've never considered myself to be a jealous person, really. I don't say that lightly. But when you are in a when you are in love with somebody, or you see somebody as a potential romantic partner and then they're dating somebody else, then you have these feelings that come up that are like these feelings that are very extreme. You saw me going through it. From a couple weeks ago, and the pain of the separation and the pain of it's like losing. It's like going through a mourning process. But I feel like once I went through that mourning process and I really let it go, and I really felt like after everything that I feel like, wow, we went through that and our friendship lasted through it. That's what I feel like. I feel like, okay, we're still, we're still sound partners in this friendship, and I feel like that is so much more important having him in my life than if we were to have some kind of encounter and then a glitch and kind of like, okay, yeah, I would much rather have him in my life for the long haul. And I also feel like I'm getting over this. I'm also feel like, and that was something that he said, that maybe the attraction, like if I prayed for the attraction to go away so that I could just have him as a friend, and I've asked for that, and I've actually done some like ceremonial processes with myself in deep emotion of letting go of like trying to cut the cord. I see that we have a connection, that connection is always going to be there, but I can connect I can disconnect from the romantic part of it, and then I can be a pure friend to him and be able to be there as a pure in his life, with having his best intention always on the table and not trying to grasp and control him or bring him into, try to grasp or control or own. And when I am in that let go place of, wow, let him go, I also feel like that for myself. I don't feel, I see, I'm learning how to just be completely true to myself. And I've realized that in this process of being true to myself, then, it do I really feel like I'm ready to go out and date? Or is that just in relativity to him? I feel like it's more relativity to him. And so I feel like I'm just gonna sit in this for a while, and I'm gonna allow that attraction to do what it does, kind of dissipate and really soundly, be in the friendship. And when I feel emotionally like I'm ready to date, I will know. When I'm attracted to somebody, I will know. I'm keeping my options open. I'm allowing myself to just be. And what will be will be. I'm opening myself up to the universe to be just like that, a pure um hose or pipe or whatever you want to call it. So my son is calling, so I'm going to go ahead and end this here. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Good morning.